I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the pride, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank, they see the number. All of my haters feel one of two ways, really upset or they show some respect. I can't even think about it, I've been up, so read about it, no beat to run it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it, we'll never see it when I keep my feet up. 100 meters where I run the fee up, and go ka-ching and nana mana pia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay the feeder, and put it back into the bit, cause I don't really need it.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC 301. We got Alexander Pantoja going against Steve Erceg. I got a pay-per-view card. We got 13 fights to work with. We did unfortunately lose Gene Silva versus William Gomi, which was honestly a really weird fight. I had my finger over the trigger on Silva all week. The line kept crashing down, and then Gomi showed up, and he weighed in a couple pounds under the limit. Looked horrible. Like that's probably the worst I've seen somebody look since like maybe Aspen Ladd back in the day, or who's that one? Julia Stoliarenko when she completely fainted on the scale. Like Gomi looked really bad. So hopefully Gomi's okay, but knew right then and there that the fight was going to get canceled. Didn't even bother betting on Gene Silva at that point. But yeah, so that sucks. But yeah, we still have 13 fights, 13 solid fights. As always, looking forward to breaking it down from a betting perspective. We'll talk some DraftKings. We'll talk some prize picks as well. Before we get into it, if you guys could, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for the betting breakdown video. We'll be dropping late tonight. Still have a few bets to put in. Waiting on maybe some lines to move. And then also have not placed a bet yet, believe it or not. There's some spots sticking out. It's a tricky card. I mean, I think there's a lot of big favorites. I think a lot of these big favorites do come through. But yeah, we'll talk about all that. So let's hit the chat before we get started. And I'm recording on my other laptop, which is it's a new laptop, but it's very small, so I can like barely see the chat, which is annoying. But I'm sick of my other laptop crashing, so I need like binoculars to read some of these chats. Let's make some money. Cash Mang, what is up? Elijah one first one in the building. We got Jacob saying, "Hey there, Ernesta Karascati. How's your life in Lithuania?" I will absolutely not be making a Ernesta Karascati song. You will not see that from me this week. Guija, Money Time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got Tony in the building. What is up, Brady? Let's make some money this weekend. Some live dogs combined with some Brazilian squash matches. It should be fun. It should be a fun card. Should be a fun card. We got the top shelf Pokemon. What is up? What is up? Let's do it. Let's do it, Zeno. Let's do it. We got Zen. What is up, Zen? What is up? We got Andre. Hey, Brady, good luck and let's go. Good luck to you as well. We got Call Me Husker in the building. Yo, what is up? Call Me Husker. What's good? And yeah, I just got done watching ceremonial weigh-ins. Man, Paul Craig always brings the heat, and Kyle brought it as well. Both of them had the face paint. That was a very, very intense face-off. Paul Craig is just known for those very, very intense face-offs, and then goes out there and pulls guard. It's kind of funny, but gotta love Paul Craig, one of my favorite fighters to watch. All right, so I say we get right into it. Like I said, we'll talk some prize picks. If you guys want to check out prize picks, use promo code DFSBTN. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. I did touch on some prize picks plays on my prediction video. But yeah, a couple things sticking out from a prize picks perspective. So I say we get into it. And we're going to start with the first fight on the card, which I think is an absolute banger. One of my favorite fights on the entire card, and it's kicking us off here. We got Alessandro Costa going against Kevin Borjas. We have a line that has kind of crashed down throughout the week. Alessandro Costa is now minus 120. and we have Kevin Boros as a plus 100 underdog. So what I'm kind of looking at here is two spots. I think violence in this fight makes a lot of sense to me. You know, both these guys have a path to finish. Kevin Boros has finished, I believe, all but one of his wins. The one win he did not finish was on the Contender Series in a somewhat of a close decision. And then also, as far as Costa goes, this is a guy who has a ton of power on the feet, but also has a BJJ black belt, the grappling path. So I think Boros can potentially land a big shot at the knockout. We've seen Costa knocked out twice. He's been hurt in quite a few fights. I don't think the chin of Costa is that great, which he's gonna probably need a good chin in this match, because I think on the feet these guys are going to throw down. The reason I do favor Costa here, though, is he just has more ways to win. I think he has a lot of power in his own right, and then also he has a clear path, which would be the grappling. This is a guy that very slick on the mat. We haven't seen it yet in the UFC, but you look at who he's fighting, and it's guys like Steve Erceg, it's guys like Amir Albazi on very short notice. It's guys like Jimmy Flick, which you're not taking down Jimmy Flick. You're keeping him on the feet and knocking him out, which is what he did. So I have a feeling, or we should see Costa go out there and grapple. And if he does, I think that sub could be live. I really like his ground game. It's just we have not seen it yet, but I think that could change here. So I'm looking at the fight doesn't go. It is like minus 140. The under 2.5 is like minus 120. I don't hate those. I think these guys are going to stand and bang on the feet. And like I said, I think Costa's live for the sub. And then I'm also taking a look at Costa by sub at plus 700. So a couple spots sticking out for the first fight of the card, and I'll be getting probably to some type of violence bet here. From a DraftKings perspective, I love this fight. First fight of the night, right in the mid-range with Costa. You get the power, the BJJ, and then with Boros, you have the power as well. The power, the volume, and Costa's chin is a little bit iffy in my opinion. So great fight to target to kick off the night. I'm picking Costa to win this fight by sub. I think if he takes the path to least resistance, he can go out there and get that submission there. Tapology has Caio at 6'1". Caio versus Paul, 5'10" versus 6'3" is a lie. Yeah, there's a couple different heights listed for Caio Bahaio. I think on UFC stats it's 5'10" still, right? But yeah, he's not 5'10" at all. So yeah, I was definitely expecting them to be, similar size. They're kind of like exactly the same. We got Derek in the building. Let's get that money. I can't see the emoji. Is that a money? I don't know what that is, but let's get it nonetheless, Derek. Let's get it. The Black Cock has the length. Come on, man. But yeah, that is his nickname, the Black Cock. MB, what's good? What is up, MB? We got Andre saying, give me Boros. The way Boros fought against Van, I think he can pull a KO. And I would not be surprised if he catches Costa in the very first round. Yeah, I mean, this is a guy, Boros, who just throws down, caution to the wind. I think these guys are going to stand and bang a little bit. That KO is very much on the table. And if you do like Boros, he's dog money, but, the KO prop would draw some interest from me as well, depending on where it's at. Boros by KO, like plus 275. I kind of think that's his path. Would be like landing a big shot and knocking out Costa, who's been knocked out a few times before. So yeah, loving violence in the first fight of the card. I don't think, the fight doesn't go as a crazy price. Obviously, we're overpaying a little bit for a flyweight fight, but I think we do get violence in the first fight of the night. It's a bang. There we go. It's a bang. There we go. Let's get that bang, Derek. All right, let's move on to the. I thought horse racing's tomorrow, right? It better be tomorrow, but yeah, I'm sorry. But I thought it was tomorrow. Maybe there's some different races going on, but I think the Kentucky Derby is tomorrow. All right, moving on to the next fight, we got Ismael Bonfim going against Vince Pichel, and yeah, like the theme of this card is just chalky, massive favorites, and this is one of them. Ismael Bonfim is now minus 600. Like, you can't do anything with that. With that said, I think he wins. I'd be fairly surprised if he lost. It's just, how do you play it? Is he going to go out there and win by decision? Is he going to finish Pichel? I kind of lean more towards him going out there and winning a decision just because Pichel has shown a lot of toughness throughout his career. But, Pichel hasn't been in there in 1 year and 8 months. I don't like that. Pichel is now 41 and a half years old. I don't like that. And maybe Bonfim is able to get him out of there. But I'm kind of leaning the decision. It's just, I don't really want to touch anything in this fight. Was thinking maybe like an over. I actually bet the over last time these two were going to fight, but since then, just more times ticked by. Pichel's getting older. Bonfim's getting better. Just have a weird feeling about this fight. So I really like nothing here from a betting perspective. If you want to throw Bonfim in a 5-6 leg parlay, which I think there's gonna be a lot of those this week, go for it. I'd be fairly surprised, like I said, if he lost. Don't think I'm doing that myself, but I do like Bonfim to win. It's just how does he get it done, I guess, is the question. That's the question for a lot of these big favorites. How do they get it done? And I'm kind of leaning decision. From a DraftKings perspective, not a ton of interest in this fight. Bonfim, 9,300. I think there's better options. I like my titty back Orobai, who's cheaper. I like Michelle Pereira at 9,600. I think he has finishing upside. Patrino has finishing upside. I think Caio has finishing upside. And then with a guy like Bonfim, could he finish Michelle? Maybe, but if he does, I kind of think it's going to be later in the fight. And then he has no grappling upside. Whereas, Patrino, I think he could mix in some takedowns. I think that even Caio, if he wants to get takedowns against Paul Craig, he can. So, and then obviously Orobai is going to probably get a lot of takedowns as well. So fading this fight from a DraftKings perspective, but the pick is obviously Bonfim. Derby is Saturday. It's tomorrow, but it's also today. So these are like the prelims of the Kentucky Derby today. Okay. I got you. Bonfim is a parlay piece. Yeah. Agreed. I don't know if it adds much to your parlay. Like I tried to mess around with a 3-leg parlay that I liked between 3 fighters, and it came out to like -130. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. So yeah, it doesn't really add much value to a parlay at -600, but maybe you can get a better price somewhere else. Like a -500 could be a little bit better. I'm leading decision, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Bonfim did stop him. I mean, Pichel, we just haven't seen him in so long. Let's see. Bonfim off the loss is going to try to murder him. I bet he is. But Pichel is a tough dude. Those guys from hell, they're very tough, as I've heard. Bonfim by decision. I'm leaning that way. I don't want to. I think he's gonna really beat up Pichel though. So it's probably gonna be a sweat. Like I think he's going to make this look pretty one-sided. Bonfim by decision is +195 though, which is fairly surprising. But I don't know. I actually don't hate that. My titty back, I still can't get over that. Yeah, I tried to pronounce his name correctly, and I just couldn't. It's my titty back for me, at least. I tried. I actually tried to pronounce his name right on my DraftKings video, and I kind of slipped up and said my titty back oral boy, which is not good. But some of these names are tough. Any bets so far? I missed no bets thus far. I'll be adding a few. I'm looking at violence in the first fight of the night, and then we'll talk about some more spots. But moving on, you will not see me betting on this next fight. Diana Barbosa going against Ernesta Kiskat. This line has been completely blown out. Barbosa is -230, and Kiskat is +195. We have a striker versus grappler matchup. Barbosa, black belt in BJJ, black belt in judo. And I see why people are betting her. I mean, you go back and watch Kiskat. There are some fights where she is getting taken down and controlled. But this fight's all going to come down to who's able to implement their game plan. If Barbosa is not able to get takedowns here, she's going to get out volume. Kiskat, I think she's actually a solid striker. I love the volume, the pressure, the pace, the cardio. But Barbosa, she has a path to victory, and that's why people are blowing up this money line. And that path to victory is going to be to get the fight down to the mat. And if she does, she's going to have an advantage. I want nothing to do with this fight. -230 on Barbosa. I was not impressed with her in the slightest. But at the same time, I'm not really that impressed with Kiskat at all either. I don't want to lay -230 on Barbosa. But at the same time, I just don't want to put any money on this fight. That's just not something I want to do this week. I think there's better spots that I like. So I'm going to be passing on this fight. From a DraftKings perspective, I can't get to Barbosa at 8,900. That's way too much for me. I guess maybe she can get like an early submission. Maybe. And then as far as Kiskat, maybe if she's able to stuff the takedown, she can put up some solid volume. It's just not a fight that I'm overly looking forward to. So this is one big, giant pass for me here. And yeah, I want nothing to do with it. Let's see here. Bathroom break fight. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be fun. Striker versus grappler. Just both fighters making their debut. I'm really not high on either fighter. I don't know. I liked Barbosa in her DWCS fight. I picked her to win. Picked her to win even by sub, I think. But I don't know. I'm just not impressed with the Barbosa, but I'm also not impressed with Kiskat. Most likely, Barbosa will drag her around and get that decision. Yes, she could. She could. It's definitely on the table. We got Otterbomb 21. Love the breakdowns. Got it live. Let's go. What is up? What is up? Hard to defend takedowns when you have zero ass. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I guess that is a good point. This fight is a definition of a no bet. Yeah, I would never bet on this fight in a million years. I got the over 1.5 in a parlay or parleezy. Yeah, I think it goes over more 1.5, but you're probably laying some juice on that. Minus 400. I think it hits. We got Marvin in the building. What's good, Brady? I am from Brazil, but I have a feeling we'll have quite a few Brazilians hitting the canvas tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm picking against a couple, but I am mostly picking the Brazilians. I think a lot of these Brazilians roll. I think a lot of these fights are kind of set up for them to succeed, especially on the main card. But yeah, I think a couple will definitely crap the bet. I don't think it will be as bad as that Canada card a couple months ago. I remember when every male Canadian went out there and lost their fight. I don't think it's going to be that bad for Brazil here. Yeah, I think the over 1.5 hits. I'm not playing it. I'm not putting any money on this fight. I'm not even thinking about it. I just think there's better spots. Yeah, I'm actually shocked, man. I mean, I was expecting Liang Na to get cut on Monday. They haven't cut her, so maybe they're one last ride, which is a shame because I threw away the wig. It's in the trash. But if they do resign, or if they do, resign her and give her another shot, I'll have to buy another wig. Vitor is going to fumble the bag. Somebody's going to fumble the bag. One of these big favorites are going to fumble the bag. Vitor, I'm not sure. I don't think he'll fumble it, but we'll see. We got Low Eyes. Jay, what is up? What is up? All right. Moving on to the next fight, we got Mauricio Hoofy going against Jamie Malarkey. This is a line that has gotten just blown out throughout the week. Hoofy's minus 225. Malarkey's a plus 190 underdog. And I think everybody's kind of thinking the same thing here, which is, Jamie Malarkey, his chin is just completely dust. He's been knocked out 5 times. I think he's been hurt in like every single fight. Like even fights he's winning, like the dude's getting hurt. He's getting dropped by like guys like John McDessie. Brad Riddell hurt him multiple times. So even in fights that are going to decision, fights that he's winning, he's getting hurt. I think the only fight he didn't get hurt in was that Prado fight where Prado just didn't show up. So, and it's a tricky fight because skill for skill, like, Malarkey could make this very close and competitive. Malarkey's pretty solid everywhere. He's a good kickboxer, good volume. He can mix in the wrestling. His grappling's underrated. It's just, he can make this competitive up until that one shot from Hoofy lands. I'll say right now, I'm not laying minus 225 on Hoofy. I think he's a solid fighter, but he's so low volume. Like that Dana White's Contender Series fight, he landed like 35 strikes combined within the first 2 rounds. His opponent kind of gassed out, slowed down. He finished him late, but the volume wasn't there. But he is a very long-rangey guy, and when he does land, he lands hard. So I think everybody's thinking the same thing, which is Hoofy by knockout. But I can't lay chalk on a knockout prop. It just, whenever you lay chalk on a finish prop, it just always seems to never work. Like I remember betting Waldo Cortez Acosta by knockout against Andre Arlovsky, and somehow he goes out there and does the salsa dance instead of finishes 44-year-old Andre Arlovsky. The people that laid chalk on like Bo Nickel by knockout, or that didn't come through, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's Hoofy by knockout. It's just laying minus 140 on a knockout prop is not really something I really want to do. And I got hack brass by knockout at like something stupid last time against Malarkey, like plus 400 and something, like plus 420, plus 450 around there. And now they're making me lay juice on it. I don't like it. But so I can't touch this fight because there is a chance that Malarkey could go out there and like Hoofy could very well be the guy that craps in the apple pie this week. Because I think this is a very close fight, but Malarkey's durability is just not it. From a DraftKings perspective, I think both sides are interesting. Hoofy If he wins, it's a knockout. He's not winning a decision. He never has, and I don't think he is here. He's not winning by submission. If he's winning, it's by knockout. So for that reason, at 8,400, he makes a lot of sense. There's obviously a lot of value on him since he's now like a minus 225 favorite. And then Malarkey, kind of like a dart throw. I don't think he's going to be very popular. Nobody has much faith in Malarkey nowadays. Why should you? And if he goes out there and pulls off the upset, maybe he can get a finish in his own right. He's not a bad finisher himself. Maybe he has some grappling upside. And again, he's going to be super low owned. I think Hoofy is going to be very popular this week because you're getting a 8,400 fighter as a minus 225 to 250 favorite. So interesting fight, but I really don't want to. I really don't want much to do from it, from a betting perspective, at least. Those huge favorites are not worth betting on. Yeah, most aren't, I'd say. Caio is my guess to fumble. Well, he's going against Paul Craig, who has made guys fumble a lot in his career. Brady, who would you choose if Uros and Griffin fought? I would love to see that fight. Griffin is one of my favorite fighters, but I doubt it happens. Max Griffin? Probably Medic at this point. Max Griffin's getting up there, man. I think Max is like 38, 39 at this point. And man, did Uros look really good against Tim Means. Tim Means came in there with a great game plan, which would be getting the fight down to the mat. And Uros's takedown defense looked really good and obviously has that power. So I would lean to the Medic side on that one. It would be a fun fight. Let's see here. That Wheezy Carrot Cake, no ass bit during the probability vid. Right when your camera went out was one of the funniest things of 2024 after 30 minutes of real talk. So funny. Yeah, I missed it. I did go back and watch it though. I thought that was funny. And yeah, I'm sick of my computer crashing, so I had to go to the backup one. Hoofy is the hardest hitter Malarkey has faced. Let's see. Malarkey fought Devontae Smith and beat him. Smith hits pretty hard. I think Hoofy definitely hits harder than like a hack press, that's for sure. Malarkey, yeah, I think Hoofy hits harder than Naimov. He did fight. I'd say Jalen Turner is probably the hardest hitter he's fought. Maybe Hoofy would be like the second hardest hitter by the looks of it. Because yeah, he's fought Sion, who has no power. Riddell doesn't have a ton of power. So yeah, I'd say it's Jalen Turner and then Hoofy. Jamie can make it ugly. Yeah, he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to make it ugly. I have some very suspicious feelings about the Hoofy Malarkey fight. Me too. I hope Malarkey won't surprise us all. Hey, I mean, this is a guy in Hoofy making his debut as a juiced favorite. We've seen it time and time again. I think Hoofy is mid and will lose. Yeah, I don't think he's a mate. I think he's okay. I can definitely see Hoofy winning by a spectacular KO than losing against Jared Hornet. Yeah, right. No laying chalk on the finish props. Preach Brady. If it was so easy, they wouldn't give you 100 to 80% returns on these inside the distance KO props. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. It seems like every time I do it, they don't hit for some reason. Malarkey's getting chinned. He's been chinned so many times before. If they allowed Gomes to fight, he's getting slept in round one. They canceled the fight, unfortunately. Turner is a fraud. No, he's not a fraud. He just had a fraudulent performance against Moicano. Had the knockout, but couldn't get it. Didn't follow up. If he's so low volume, then round one KO is not looking good, right? It could be round one, but if you do bet the round one, you could be like yelling at your TV, like, let your hands go, Hoofy. What are you doing? And then smashing your TV with a baseball bat just because the guy's a little bit low volume. But it only takes one. He can be low volume, but it only takes one, and he has a ton of power. McJesse was constantly landing on Malarkey, so Hoofy is definitely going to land some bombs. He is. All right, guys, let's move on to the next fight. We got what I think could be like a sneaky contender for fight of the night. We got Jakar Close going against Joaquim Silva. We got Jakar Close as a minus 185 favorite. Joaquim Silva as a plus 160 underdog. And this is a spot where I liked violence here before seeing the line. I thought it was a sneaky violence spot. Jakar Close, he goes to decision all the time. I mean, you look at Jakar Close, I think there was once a stretch for Jakar Close where He went to decision, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row. And then he got knocked out by Dariush, and then he knocked out Brandon Jenkins, went to decision against Rafa Garcia, then had that slam knockout against Joe Selecki. But when you think of Close, you think of him as a decisionator. So I was expecting to get like a solid, like a really solid number on like the fight doesn't go, on close by knockout even. But, you know, we're having to lay minus 150 on the fight doesn't go here. So, you know, I don't like that. I think both guys are live to land a big shot and get the knockout here, though. I was looking at maybe like the fight ends by knockout for this one. Silva, we know it by now. The nickname is Neto BJJ. You know, I'm not sure if he changed his nickname yet, but he probably should. Like, if you're not submitting Clay Guida, you know, something's seriously wrong. And then as far as Jakar Close, he's not subbing anybody. So I think the fight ends by knockout at +1. He's not terrible, but I would like a better line. Joaquim Silva, this is a guy that I just don't trust the chin. You know, getting knocked out by Arman Sarukian in the third round via TKO is not a bad look. What is a bad look is getting sparked by Ricky Glenn. I mean that's inexcusable. Getting sparked by Ricky Glenn, and that fight wasn't that long ago, like a couple of years ago at this point. Got knocked out by Nazareth Hackpress, who's not really knocking many people out outside of Jamie Malarkey. So, yeah, I mean, I don't trust the chin of Silva. And I think Close is live for the knockout. But, again, we're not getting good odds. Like, I would like a much, much better price on these close finish props. He's not finishing anybody outside of Brandon Jenkins, who's not UFC caliber. And he had that slam against Joe Selecki. So, Close inside the distance, +145, trash. Close by knockout, +170, trash. So I don't know. I hate it. I think they're onto it. I think we probably see a finish one way or another. I'm going to pick Close to win, but again, these props are just trash. Was looking at like maybe like a 2-3 for Close, but like he could knock him out early as well. Not much is sticking out here. From a DraftKings perspective, it's kind of tough to get the Close at this price tag, 8,700. If anything, like Silva, 7,500. Like Silva has a ton of power. Close, I don't think he has the best chin. So maybe some Silva on DK makes some sense to me. Joaquim Silva has too much muscle and gasses out early. Little beef at the weigh-in. Jakar late finish. I was leaning that late finish. Let me see what the odds are on those late finish. Probably trash late props. So round 2 is +550, and round 3 is +675 on Bet Online, and then +900 on Betway. I don't have Betway. Yeah, some of these these late props this year have been just terrible. Like they're all over these late props. Like last week, the Petrovich 2-3 props were the worst 2-3 props I've ever seen in my life. I think round 3 was like maybe +300. Like you just don't see that. But you know, this year they've been all over those late props. It's kind of annoying. Manuel Torres starches Jakar Close, probably. Live bet Jakar after he loses round 1. Okay. What is the confidence level on the Costa pick? Not entirely confident, to be honest. I think he has the path to make it look like a confident pick. Like if he does go out there and grapple, but I don't trust the chin of Costa. And Boros is a problem on the feet with that volume, with that power. I could see a scenario where Costa gets his lights put out, but if Costa comes in there with the right game plan and grapples, I think he could look like a big favorite. It's just you can't trust a lot of these fighters in their game plans. And we haven't seen Costa grapple yet in the UFC. So confidence level, not very high. What I am kind of confident in, though, is the violence. I think both guys are live to hurt each other, and I think Costa's live for the sub. Yeah, that was crazy. Back-to-back slams was very crazy. Close is going to make it look easy. I think he has all the tools to do so. We got Yes Freak saying Scottsdale, Arizona's watching you. Brady, let's go. What is up, Yes Freak? Close versus Silva goes the distance, and Lucendo, Carolina goes the distance parlay. I mean, I think the close fight finishes, but you're getting a really good price on the fight goes in that close fight. Just, you know, Close is a decisionator. I don't know why they're shading it so much to the violence. I think it does finish myself, but I was expecting plus money for a violence prop in a in a close fight, because you should expect that, because all this guy, has done in the past is go to decision for the most part. Close as a coin flip. He got sidelined 2 years ago from a push at weigh-ins. I think he's recovered now, and since then he's actually looked pretty solid. So, but yeah, I do remember that. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got I'm trying not to say it, but my titty back Orobai going against Elvis Brener. We got Orobai is a minus 250 favorite, and then Brener is sitting as like a +1 or +210 underdog. So yeah, I like Orobai here. I thought I would maybe be on the Brener side first look, but after digging into it, I think Orobai is special. Like, I think this guy could be very good. He's good everywhere. You look at his fights outside of his Medic fight, and he's a good striker. He has a lot of power. He's flatlining guys on the feet. And then obviously he has the wrestling, the grappling, the cardio to go out there and push a wrestling heavy pace, a little bit of a submission game as well. A lot of things I like about Orobai. And you got Brener, who's just been cashing as a dog thus far in the UFC. I think he was like a slight favorite against Krzyzewski last time out and sparked him. But prior to that, he was a pretty big favorite in his debut, or a pretty big underdog in his debut. Really big underdog against Kuda Taladze, and won that fight in the third round. So he's shown some good things, but he is losing a lot of minutes in those fights. I thought he lost his debut. The fight could have went either way. And then I thought he was, losing the majority of that Kuda Taladze fight and had that comeback. I think Orobai is the rightful favorite just because I think he has more ways to win. I think he's going to dictate where this fight takes place. If he wants to go out there and strike with Brener, I think he can. If he wants to go out there and take him down, I think he'll have no problem doing so. So yeah, I like Orobai. Maybe Orobai as a parlay piece this week. I don't hate it. Minus 250. It's I was kind of expecting this line to come down a little. I was kind of expecting more people to be on Brener, but that's not the case. So I like my titty back Orobai to win this fight. Probably by decision, but I mean, this guy has power. This guy has a submission game. I wouldn't rule out a finish. I would just say Orobai as a parlay piece. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it myself, but maybe I can find another leg I like on this card. So give me Orobai. Like him from a Draftkings perspective, though, that's for sure. 9K, he went out there, put up like 120 something against Medic. I think we could see something along the lines in this fight as well. Brener by KO is plus 1,400. And yeah, I kind of think that's his path. Like, I'd be fairly surprised. Like, if he wins the decision, I mean, he's got a robbery decision win before. We are in Brazil, so maybe he can win like a bad decision. But yeah, I kind of feel like KO is his path there. Mike, I think my titty back just sounds so much better. Did you see the video of Charles inside the it looked like one of those smaller saunas with Brener cutting weight? Brener literally looked like a dead guy when they took him out of the bag. I did see that video. I thought it was fake at first, but it was a real video, and I really don't know how to explain what I saw in that video. It was kind of concerning to watch. It's kind of weird. Like, that was a very weird situation going on there with Brener, Charles Oliveira. Not sure who the other guy was, but somebody was rubbing Brenner's head, like petting him. It was, quite frankly, it was sick. Quite frankly, it was sick, that video. I've never seen that. Like, is that a thing? Like, I don't think it's a thing. Like, both guys were in a one-person sauna. I don't know, but it just made me like Orobai just a little bit more. Is Brenner's horrible weight cut a factor? No, not really. I guess you could factor it in, but yeah, he did look rough. Brener looked all right at the ceremonial weigh-ins. He did. Good morning from Australia. Loved the prop show yesterday with President Wheezy. Yeah, a lot of people seem to like it. Got a decent turnout. Wasn't expecting that many people to see it. And hopefully you guys watched. It went through a ton of spots, but we went deep. Me and Wheezy always dive deep into these fights and try to look at everything at all angles. Actually, Brener looked huge at ceremonial weigh-ins. The biggest I've ever seen him at pre-fight. The dude obviously cuts a lot of weight. Oral by KO'd real bums, and I quite like Brener here. He will definitely test Oral by. It will be a test. Brener's no slouch. Brener will be there the entire 15 minutes. He's no joke. Oral by sub 2-3. Maybe. I'm kind of leaning decision, but maybe he could wear down Brener a little bit. Maybe Brener did have a tough cut. Maybe Brener slows down. Maybe 2-3 sub can make sense. Brener is a black belt, though, for what it's worth. Don't think he's ever been subbed. My Tittyback and Rebecki are the future at lightweight. Yeah, both those guys very good. Especially, Oral by, I think this guy could be the real deal. Oh, bringing up Dennis Tialuin, another really, really tough name. So has Oral by ever been finished? No, neither. That's the thing. Neither of these guys have been finished. Elvis Brener has never been finished. Oral by has never been finished. Torpedo. That's a sick name. Torpedo Anna wins. I'm not homeless. Glad to hear it, Lou. Congrats on cashing Torpedo Anna, the horse, and he or she got it done. There we go. Let's see. You got to be careful on some of these comments. I think Charles was just in the sauna bag to give him support. But yes, a little sus. Why not support him outside the bag? Yeah, I mean that's what he was doing. He was giving him support. He was being there for his teammate. I don't know. I mean, not something I would do, but he's Charles Oliveira. He can kind of do what he wants. Yeah, I don't know either, Mike. I don't know either. Do you like Oral by Bahayo and Pereira? I mean, Pereira is like what, minus 600, 700? Like, just he's so much better than this guy, but Pereira's pulled some gnarly stunts in the past, so I don't know. And then with Bahayo, he's minus 600, 700, and he's going against Paul Craig. I think that parlay absolutely should hit. It's just when you're laying that much chalk, we got to think about these things. Paul Craig is live against anybody, and then Michelle Pereira is live to just pull a stunt. All right, let's move on. And if you haven't seen that Charles Oliveira Brener video, don't watch it. Just don't watch it. All right, moving on. We got Yasmin Lucendo going against Karolina Kowalkiewicz. We got you guessed it, another really big favorite here with Lucendo. She's sitting as a minus 400 favorite. Karolina sitting at plus 300. Karolina's been on a roll as of late, but she's been on a roll against some lower level competition. This is going to be Karolina's toughest fight in a while at this point. So yeah, she's looked good, but I just feel like the rightful favorite is Lucendo. Should she be minus 400? Probably not, but she should have a lot of advantages in this fight. I think maybe Karolina could have more volume, but all the powers in favor of Lucendo. I think all the grappling upsides in favor of Lucendo. We're in Brazil, which I think favors Lucendo. Like, even if the fight is close, we know who this decision's probably going to. So yeah, at the end of the day, as far as a winner, I think Lucendo goes out there and wins. How does she win? I'm kind of leaning like decision for Lucendo. Karolina's, she's super tough. When she does lose, it is either by decision or by submission. So maybe Lucendo's able to take her down and sub her, but I don't know. Like, she wasn't able to submit Brogan Walker Sanchez, which still to this day, just some things just make no sense. Like, how is Juliana Miller going to go out there and finish Brogan Walker Sanchez and Yasmin Lucendo takes her the full 15? Like, that still makes no sense to me. But yeah, I don't think I can bet a finish prop on Lucendo after that. I'm still scarred to this day. And yeah, I think Karolina Sola, she's a vet, she's been there, so kind of leaning Lucendo by decision, but she definitely has that submission path if it gets there. The overs are kind of getting smashed. Like, the over 2.5 is now minus 225 now. So overs are getting hit a little bit. Makes sense to me. I think we probably see a decision, Lucendo winning it. But yeah, not too much interest in this fight from a betting perspective. From a DraftKings perspective, 9,200 for Lucendo. I don't love it. I like Oral by a little bit more. I like Bahayo, Pereira a little bit more. I don't like Lucendo at 9,200. I don't think she scores terribly, but I just think there's better options here. So not a ton of interest in this fight, but Lucendo should go out there and win. But Carolina, she couldn't make it competitive, I'll say. I love if Charles would hop in a bag with me and sweat together. I think a lot of people would probably like that. That would be a chump parlay. What chump? Oh, the oral by Ohio Pereira. Yeah, I was looking at like a 3-legger. Like even like I was looking at it like Monday. Like I had a 3-legger, and it was still coming out to like minus 130 for a couple of these guys. I'm like, what's going on? And the lines have only got hammered since then. So now these lines are even wider. You have to put like a 4-leg parlay together just to get barely plus money. Like it's gross, man. I hate when, you know, these favorites are so big, because that takes away from some of the value on the props, and I don't like it. But I think a lot of these favorites roll. It's just somebody will crap the bed, and some of these parlays will be busted. So it's tricky. We got our Uncle Wheezy in the building saying, "Oi, what is up, Uncle Wheezy?" If you guys have not checked out Probability, we did it Wednesday night. A lot of people seem to like it. It is on the channel. Go check it out. Shout out to Uncle Wheezy. I'm looking forward to working with him, doing Probability each week. If you guys want to check it out, go to Uncle Wheezy's Patreon. He has a tier for it, and then he's also on that Dub Club as well. Wheezy, if you want to drop the link, you can put it in the chat. But yeah, looking forward to doing Probability on a weekly basis. One of my favorite shows to do. So it's between that and Stat Diggers, one of my favorite shows. Probability. So love going deep, talking through all angles. And by the way, Wheezy, somebody brought up the Kiskat cake comment, and somebody in the comment actually got mad at you for that, which is expected. You know, some people. I mean, this is 2024. You got to be careful with some things you say, but I think Wheezy can certainly get away with it. He is the next president, I believe. There it is. Check it out. It is in the description. I'm going to be doing Probability weekly. Shout out to Uncle Wheezy. All right, moving on. We have the featured prelim. Joe Anderson, Brito going against Jack Shore. And where's this line sitting at now? We got Brito minus 188, Jack Shore plus 163. Interesting fight. You know, I feel like, you know, Jack Shore can maybe have some success here winning minutes with the wrestling, with the grappling. We've seen Brito taken down by guys like Jonathan Pierce and, you know, guys like even Bill Algeo. But, you know, Shore is a guy that's fought a lot of his career at bantamweight. You know, his entire UFC career has been at bantamweight outside of that Makwan Malarkey fight. So maybe Shore is going to struggle with the physicality a little bit here up at featherweight with a guy, especially like Brito, who's, you know, just very physically strong. And yeah, Brito is going to be dangerous wherever the fight goes. On the feet, he has a ton of power. On the ground, he has a submission game as well. So I don't know how I'm playing this fight. I mean, this line, Brito was sitting around like minus 137 a couple days, like on a Monday. This line's gotten hammered throughout the week. I was looking at maybe like a Brito finish only, which is minus 220, which is chalky, but I think that should be wider. I don't think Shore's finishing Brito. Maybe a late finish if Brito gasses out, but even then I don't like it. So maybe Brito finish only. It's chalky, but I think it either hits or pushes there. So I might be looking at that. The Brito finish props are kind of disgusting. I think Brito inside the distance is, yeah, minus 105, minus 110, plus 100. Like, I don't know about that. At that point, you might as well play just the money line. So haven't bet anything on this fight yet, but maybe like that Brito finish only. But even that, it's not something I'm kind of running to the window for. But I like Brito to win this fight. And I think he probably finishes Shore at some point. On DraftKings, I think Brito makes a lot of sense for that finishing upside. He has a ton of power. Jack Shore's been finishing his only loss. Jack Shore is an underdog, 7,700. If Jack Shore is able to get that wrestling going, that grappling going, maybe he can put up a decent score at low ownership. But I think Brito probably catches him here at some point. Yep, Uncle Wheezy for president, 2024. He's getting my vote, that's for sure. Appreciate that, Otter Bomb. Yeah, I love doing the show. LMAO carrot cake, yeah, no cake at all. Yeah, I agree. Jack Shore by decision. Yeah, I think if he's winning, it's by decision. And Jack Shore by decision is like plus 350. So if you like Jack Shore, that decision prop's not bad. Ohio, Pereira, co-main, and main both over plus 100, both over 1.5 plus 100. I think it hits, but I don't know, man. I mean, that's you got 4-leg parlay there at plus money. I don't know. I'll say it hits, but I don't know. I just like those just aren't worth it to me. At least it's like you got to sweat out 4 different fights for plus money, and this is MMA. You know, we should know by now. Like we've seen so many crazy things happen, even just this year. Like so, for 4 different outcomes to go right, and to sit and to sweat through all those for plus 100, I don't like it, but I think it hits. Ion for what it's worth. Jack Shore is a fraud. I don't think he's a fraud. I mean, his only loss comes to Ricky Simone. He hasn't beaten the best competition, but you know this is a tough matchup for him in Brazil against Brito, an absolute killer. Brito by brutal finish. Brito by brutal finish. Yep, I'm kind of leaning that way as well. Who is Uncle Weezy's vice president? I have to ask him. I'm not sure. Maybe Mandy Bum. Maybe Mandy Bum could be the vice president. I think she's good with politics. Yo, Brady, how's it going? What is up? Going pretty good. It's a Friday. Looking forward to the card tomorrow. I think Kyle's most likely to fumble. Can't wait to talk about that fight. The only decision Jack Shore will be getting is whether he taps or goes to the sleeve. There we go. Welsh dudes been losing lately. Welsh women as well. Corey McKenna. Yeah, Corey pulled a stunt. She's pulled a couple stunts at this point. I like Costa Martinez as a 2-legger. Thoughts? I don't know about Martinez. I don't know about both, to be honest. I do like Close to win, but I think Otto can make it fairly competitive, but we'll talk about it. All right, moving on. We got the main card opener, and I'm really excited for this fight. I'm excited for all Paul Craig fights, and that stare down today was sick. You know, Paul Craig bringing out the face paint. Caio brought out the face paint as well. They got right in each other's faces, and should be a very fun main card opener. Yeah, for me, you know, I'm looking at these lines, and it's not too often we see a Paul Craig fight doesn't just go to decision prop at minus 175. Like I'm looking at the line, I'm like, man, have we ever seen a Paul Craig fight doesn't go to decision at minus 175? Have you even seen a Paul Craig fight doesn't go to decision like better than minus 300? Like, I don't know. So right off the bat, I have some interest. You know, Paul Craig has a 100% finish rate in his wins. He's never won a decision, and quite frankly, he never will. You don't win decisions flopping to your back. And then he has lost 6 of 7 losses inside the distance. And the one that did go to decision that he lost was against Volkan Oezdemir, who like dropped him a million times. And just for some reason, like it looked like Volkan bet the decision prop there. Caio has been talking a lot about the knockout. I think it's live. I think the knockout's super live here against Paul Craig. I think if Caio comes in here with the right game plan, he should go out there and make this look easy. He's a minus 600 favorite, which is weird to see. Like, you know, Paul Craig's live against anybody. You know, we've seen Paul Craig pull off just massive upset after massive upset. He's been a dog pretty much his entire career. I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 fights where he was the favorite, and I think that was in one of the Shogun fights. And then I think that was in the Vinicius Moreira fight. Even that, I think it might have been a pick'em, but Paul Craig's always the dog. It's because he doesn't have a minute-winning friendly style. You know, he's never won a decision. Like I said, never will. So I think the fight doesn't go covers all of Paul Craig's equity. And then I think Caio Borralho on the feet has a massive advantage. You know, everybody has a massive advantage on the feet against Paul Craig. Craig's 36 years old at this point. He's only taken more and more damage. He doesn't have the best chin. He gets hurt in every fight, win or loss. So yeah, I'm kind of looking at that fight doesn't go at minus 175. Got to be careful on it though, because Caio is and has been mostly a decisionator, mostly decisions on his record. But you take a look at some of these fights, and you know he went out there and took Mahmoud Muradov to decision, Armen Petrosyan to decision, Muradov striker, Petrosyan striker. Took Abus Magomedov to decision, striker, but he really should have finished Abus. So I'm going to say Caio by knockout, and I probably will be playing some type of Caio knockout prop, or the fight doesn't go decision. And it looks like a lot of people are on it though, which kind of sucks. So the knockout prop was plus 250. It's now like plus 210. So it's been a hit, but I still don't mind it. Caio inside the distance is taking some steam as well. But yeah, I agree. I think this is it's a Paul Craig fight. It's a violent fight there. From a DraftKings perspective, I think Caio's solid, 9,500. I think he's live to knock out Paul Craig. And then as far as Paul Craig, he's always a dart throw. He's always in play. No matter who Paul Craig's fighting, you always got to throw him in some lineups there. And Uncle Weezy's vice president will be Al Kakui, Tony Ferguson. He's Harvard educated. Oh my. That does not sound like the best idea. Caio decision. Yeah, if Caio wins the decision, it's going to be the most frustrating fight ever. Caio ground and pound. If Caio KO's Craig, I'll do a shoey. I think there's a chance you might be doing a shoey, man. This fight will hit the ground. When it does, who's more live for the sub? Probably Craig is probably more. I know Caio's a black belt, never been subbed, but Paul Craig, like his win condition is sub. Like he's not winning any other way. It's a sub off his back. So I think that it'd be wise for Caio to keep it standing. Cavs or Magic tonight. I haven't watched a basketball game in like 10 years, so I don't know. Eric liking Craig. I mean, he's a big dog. He's a big dog. Big dog. So we shall see. All right, so moving on. We got Michel Pereira going against Ihor Pateria. Michel Pereira minus 650. Ihor Pateria is a plus 475 underdog. Yeah, I'm not betting this fight. You can't lay minus 650 on Michel Pereira. Skill for skill, is he minus 650? Yes, he's probably even minus 1,000. It's just Michel Pereira has pulled stunts in the past, and to be fair, he has looked a lot better. He hasn't been doing a lot of his typical shenanigans outside of, we had a really long walkout last time, a nice dance routine, but still was able to get an early finish there. I think Pereira wins, but these props are all trash. I mean, the under 1.5 is minus 160. That's trash. The fight doesn't go decisions, minus 500, just trash. All these props are trash, and this money line is trash as well. So it's Pereira for the win. I'll never bet on Ihor Pateria to win a UFC fight, I don't think. And I'm not betting on him here. But at the same time, laying minus 650 on Michel Pereira, like those are one of those spots where if you lay minus 650 on Michel Pereira and he starts doing like, dance routines at the beginning of the fight, backflips, messing around, and loses this guy lost to Tristan Connolly back in the day. This guy lost to Diego Sanchez by DQ. So I don't trust him. And quite frankly, just nothing sticking out here. So it's an easy pass for me. Is this the worst pay-per-view in recent memory? Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it's probably the worst in recent memory, which is, I'm not saying it's a bad, I think it's a good card. I think it's a solid card, but it is the worst in recent memory. And I can't think of off the top of my head one that's, in terms of like name value, like can't think of one off the top of my head, but I think it's gonna be a fun card. I think it's gonna be a very fun card. Yeah, he's big. I mean, this is a guy that's fought a lot at light heavyweight, Pateria. So yeah, this guy should be big. And Pereira's a guy that's fought a lot at welterweight. For sure. So yeah, he's a big dude. If anything, honestly, it's probably a dog or pass. But like I said, I'm never betting on Ihor Pateria ever. 297 wasn't that good. Yeah, that was the Dricus Strickland fight, which that was a good fight. But yeah, everything prior to that was not great. That was the Raquel Pennington Silva fight. Oh, it was rough. Does Ihor have a path? I think Ihor's path is like Michel Pereira effing up. I think that's his path. And yes, on paper, yeah. On paper, yes. Agreed. Pereira round 1, round 2 KO. Agreed. I was looking at the Pereira round 1, round 2, though. It's minus 185. It's like, not a ton of meat on the bone. Neil had the upset of the century, though. Yes, he did. Yep. I was able to cash Neil Magny round 3. And then I also had Magny round 3 sub at plus 10,000. And instead of grabbing the neck, he pounded him out. So hit the round 3, but wanted that round 3 sub. All right. Moving on to the next fight, we got Vitor Patrino going against Anthony Smith, another really big favorite. Vitor Patrino minus 550. Anthony Smith, a plus 400 underdog. And then, like, when I'm looking at this fight, it's like I really struggle to see a path for Anthony Smith here. Vitor Patrino, this guy's younger. He's improving. He's only 26, and he's just good everywhere. He's shown the ability to go out there in the UFC and win fights by any which method. He's shown that he can go out there and win a 15-minute decision. Like, he doesn't look like it, but this guy surprisingly has pretty dang solid cardio. He's shown that he can go out there and win a decision, get takedowns, get control time. He's shown that he can go out there and get a submission like he did against Marcin Prachnio. And then he's shown that he can go out there and take somebody's head off with, that power he brings to the table. So I think Patrino can really win however he wants. I think the wide line's warranted, but again, minus 550 to minus 600 doesn't really add a ton to your parlay, but I'd be fairly surprised if Smith pulled off this upset. With that said, though, Anthony Smith's a guy that when you kind of least expect him to win, that's kind of when he comes through. And I definitely don't expect him to win this fight. So nothing's really sticking out. Because Patrino, he can win however he wants. Like, I think he can knock out Smith. Like, Smith's been finished a ton. I know he's a tough dude, but he's been finished 15 times. And it probably should have been 16 if Johnny Walker showed any sense of urgency in that fight, the Walker-Smith fight, where the ref was like a second away from stopping the fight, but Walker kind of let him off the hook. So, yeah, he's been finished a ton, a lot by knockout, a lot by a couple by sub as well. Don't think he's been subbed in a while. But, yeah, I think Patrino, knockout or decision. The knockout prop, I think you're like barely getting plus money. Patrino by knockout is, plus 100. Patrino by decision is like plus 240. I think if anything, it's by decision, but he could knock him out if he wants to. So another chalky favorite, another tricky fight from a betting perspective, in a fight that I don't think I'll be getting to this week. Pounded him out. Yeah, I mean, he pounded him out. Is there a line on how many backflips Pereira does during the fight? I think it's probably set at 0.5. I think there's a slight chance he does. He hasn't done it in a while. Like, I can't remember the last backflip he's done. I think maybe the Nico Price fight was the last backflip. So it has been a while, but we are in Brazil. Maybe he brings it back here. Maybe he's overlooking Pateria, which maybe he is. Maybe we could see a couple backflips, but I think I'd set it at 0.5 because he hasn't done it in a while. Favorite bet of the night, Patrino in the over 1.5 for 3.65 units. I can dig that. I can dig it. I think I saw it at minus 165. Good way to get the price tag. I can dig that play. Patrino lost so much value last fight. Smith by decision. I mean, he didn't lose value. He went out there and beat Tyson Pedro by decision. Like, it really wasn't close. Didn't lose value in my eyes, but it was a boring fight for what it's worth. Smith round 3 plus 3,000. Could Smith win a decision? I don't know what a Smith decision looks like. He's not really a minute. Like, when you look at Anthony Smith, like, he's not winning decisions really ever. I mean, 92% finish rate for Smith. Like, when he's winning fights, it's knockout or submission. The last time he did win a decision was his last fight, but even that, like, he was on the verge of getting knocked out against Ryan Spann. And then the last decision before that was like 2016. So he's not really winning decisions. Smith is a lock on paper. Vitor over 1.5. Agreed. Confidence level in Bonfim, Bohaio, Pereira, Patrino. Number 1 would be Patrino. Number 2 would be Bonfim. Number 3 would be Pereira. Number 4 would be Bohaio, but fairly confident in all. But with Bohaio, you're going against Paul Craig, which is terrifying. With Pereira, you're betting on his IQ in and outside the cage. Patrino should be fine against Smith. Bonfim should be fine against Pichel. Smith could get a Smith could get knocked out and still think he's next in line to fight Alex Pereira. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's like obsessed with Alex Pereira. Like every time every time I hear about him, like he's talking about Alex Pereira. I think it'd be hilarious if they fought. Smith is gonna shock the world and ask for a title shot. He's been asking for it, man. So yeah, I mean, if he pulls off this upset, he will be asking for a title shot, and I will be putting my house on Pereira, which I never do that, but why not? Put one house to win like maybe one house to win. I don't know, because Pereira would probably be like minus 1,000. You probably wouldn't win much. Someone said Smith went to split decision with the home intruder. Goodness, Eric. All right, moving on. We got the co-main event. Jonathan Martinez going against Jose Aldo. Yeah, weird fight. If this fight was a couple years ago, I would have already bet Jose Aldo. It's just we haven't seen him in a long time. It's been like almost that Merab fight was almost 2 years ago at this point. Jose Aldo is 36 years old, coming off of like a retirement. So I hate that side of thing, like the narrative type side of things. But then you look at the matchup and it's like, this is a close fight. What is Jonathan Martinez very good at? So his kicks, very, very kick heavy. And I just struggle to see him, having a lot of success with those kicks against a guy like Jose Aldo. I think it's a close fight. I think it's a very close fight. I think the line is a little bit too wide. I guess you can slightly, like ever so slightly, maybe favor Martinez. Just he's younger, and this is a guy Martinez who's looking really good as of late, and I think he's improving a lot. He's at a great gym. Like every time we see this guy, just looks better and better. He's leveling up. So I think slight favorite Martinez makes a little sense, like minus 130, minus 150, minus 160, maybe a little too wide. What I was looking at was maybe the Jose Aldo point spread. I think it's like minus 165. Go out there and win a round. I think it's very doable. I think this fight does go to decision. So maybe the point spread for Aldo. But again, I can't get to this money line just because of the narrative things. Martinez younger. Martinez been active. We haven't seen Aldo in a while, but I think this could play out very close. We are in Brazil. We know who the crowd's going to be behind. We know who these crooked, corrupt judges are going to be behind. So that's kind of what I like the point spread. Because even if Aldo does lose, I think at the very least he can steal a round or two. So maybe point spread for Aldo, and that's about it. From a DK perspective, it's kind of an ugly fight from a DK perspective. Like if anything, it's Jose Aldo at 7,900. I think he's a live dog. I think he's live to win. Does he score well? I'm not so sure. I don't think he has any grappling upside. Maybe can knock out Martinez, who's been, knocked out in the past by Davey Grant, got dropped against Alejandro Perez, but I doubt that as well. So kind of a weird fight from that perspective. But yeah, it's Jose Aldo or pass, but it's the narrative things that are kind of holding me back here. Jose Aldo's an assassin. He was an assassin. We'll see if he still is. He's 37 now. Yeah, I don't know, man. 37 now. Merab went 0 for 12 on takedowns against Aldo. That's impressive. Yes, very impressive. But in terms of this matchup, like Jonathan Martinez is not going to be shooting takedowns. So I didn't really look into that fight too much. Yeah, right. One house to win a pebble. Well, DFS, what do you think about these picks? Costa, Hoofy, Orobai, Brito, Aldo. Picking all of them. I do like Orobai quite a bit. Brito quite a bit. Costa, the chin sketches me out a little bit, and then Aldo, like the age and the layoff sketches me out a little bit. He did. Much different weight class, but he did. Glover, light heavyweight, these bigger guys can kind of fight into their 40s. We don't see a lot of, flyweights, bantamweights, featherweights fighting up into their 40s. We just don't see it. What is up, Sean? Good to see you. Let the public bet Aldo. Give me Martinez a teen money at teen money. And I'm betting my life savings on Jonathan Martinez. Even money? Yeah, I don't think it's going to even money. Just saw the Charles Oliveira video. Isn't he just awesome? Very awesome. Over 1.5 a core parlay piece. I think it hits. Davey Grant has hands of fire. So yeah, Davey Grant does have power. Hey, Brady, I have a betting page, and I'd like to know how could I get on your Saturday show before the fights, predictions. Yeah, a couple guys have asked me. Like I do, I kind of get the crew before the start of the year. So this year I gathered up 10 people, and then kind of like a whole year thing. But if you want to do it next year, hit me up, and I'll get you on. Going to get a couple new guys on next year, but we got 10 guys on right now, and they're going to go through the entire year, unless somebody drops out. But that hasn't happened yet. Agreed. Steve Carell's missing his shift at Best Buy to fight Pantoja. I'd rather see Aldo versus Cruz. Same. But all right, guys, let's get to the main event. Before we do so, if you guys have not, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, be on the lookout for the betting breakdown video tonight. And we got the main event here. Alexander Pantoja going against Steve Erceg. And yeah, I've been saying all week, when I first saw this fight booked, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was completely made up, but no, they're giving Erceg a title fight here. And yeah, I know a lot of people are rooting for Erceg. I think it's a feel good story. Like, he comes into the UFC not that long ago. Like, he came into the UFC last year? That Canada card when Nunez beat Aldana. And he's had 3 fights since then. Win against Dvorak as an underdog, beat Alessandro Costa by decision, and then knocked out Matt Schnell. And then he's getting a title shot. So quickly getting a title shot here. But man, you look at the resumes and it's just night and day. Erceg's out there knocking out Matt Schnell. Pantoja, he knocked out Matt Schnell already, first and foremost, but he's fighting Brandon Royval. He's fighting Brandon Moreno. He's fighting Davison Figueiredo, Askar Askarov. The list goes on and on for this guy. He's been there. He's been tested against high-level competition. He's been tested in a 5-round fight multiple times at this point. He's shown that, does he get tired? Yeah, but he's shown that he can go to the full 25 minutes and do it and push a pace doing so as well. So, yeah, I mean, I got to go Pantoja here. I think Pantoja is going to show Erceg some things that he's never seen. Like, this is a step up, going from Matt Schnell to Alexander Pantoja. And I think Dvorak and Costa, they're solid, but geez, I mean, going from those guys to Pantoja, I think that's just a little bit too soon here for Steve Erceg. And I like Pantoja to win. So I'm kind of sitting back, seeing where this money line goes. Was hoping it would come down even more, but might have a bet on Pantoja when it's all said and done. So right now he's like minus 180. Steve Erceg's plus 155 around there. So we'll see. From a DraftKings perspective, I like Pantoja. This is a guy that can go out there, get takedowns, can go 25, control time, decent volume as well. And then as far as Erceg, you are getting the underdog here, 7,400. You're getting 5 rounds with him as well. So going to be playing the main event very heavily, but heavily in favor of Pantoja, I think. I'm all in on Erceg. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't like it. I don't like it, man. I'm just not sure how Erceg wins. Like, is he going to be the first one to knock out Pantoja? I really doubt it. Like, Erceg's not a murderous power puncher. He looked like a murderous power puncher in his last fight, but that's because he fought Matt Schnell. Is Erceg going to sub Pantoja? I doubt it. Is he going to win a decision? I think that's how it would be. I think it'd be like an Erceg decision. Maybe he stuffs the takedowns, keeps it standing, and maybe outstrikes Pantoja. But winning 3 rounds against the champ in Brazil, I don't like it. So I think there's a lot of reasons to like Pantoja, but yeah, a lot of people are on Erceg. Does not go the distance. I kind of think it does. But Pantoja's last 2 fights have. I'm not sure how the Royval fight went the distance, but it did. Both these guys are really tough. Are you dropping the bets tonight? Yeah, I'll be dropping the bets shortly. I'm not going to have a ton of bets, but I'll have a couple. Like, when have we ever seen a 10th rated fighter so well against the champion? Do well against the champion? Not often. Not often. I'll fall to my knees and cry if Erceg wins. The fact that this isn't a fight night is a joke. 50K pay-per-view buys. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I'm somebody that actually buys the pay-per-view more often than not. I'm not buying this one. That's for dang sure. I think this is probably going to be the least bought pay-per-view in a very long time. Not saying it's a bad card. It's not. It's a good card. It's a very good card. It's a fun card. But I would be shocked if, people were actually purchasing this pay-per-view. 50K is generous. Yeah. I'm kind of shocked that they're charging for this one. Very shocked. But it's a good card. It's a good card. I like it. I'm going to enjoy it. But I will not be buying it. Pantoja KO or sub. Yeah, he could win any, which I think could be KO, sub, decision. Kind of lean decision, but if I'm betting it, I'm probably just betting Pantoja moneyline. The O'Malley has beef on Twitter. Seems like everybody has beef on Twitter these days. Twitter's been wild this week. I've been trying to stay off. So much negativity in this world nowadays. All right, guys. We did it. We went through all 13 fights. Look out for that betting breakdown video. Looking at maybe a Pantoja bet. I'm hoping more money comes in on Urseg so I can get a little bit better of a price. Maybe the Jose Aldo plus 3.5 point spread. Maybe. Caio by knockout. A very, very popular play, but I can dig that. The fight doesn't go in the Craig fight. I can dig that. Maybe like Brito, some type of Brito play. We'll see. I think oral buy as a parlay piece makes some sense. And then Costa, Boros, maybe the under, maybe the fight doesn't go. Not a ton sticking out. I hate these chalky weeks. It makes it tough. But yeah, some spots are sticking out. I have some bets. It's gonna be probably my lightest pay-per-view card ever, though, to be honest. But not gonna force stuff. Not gonna bet some of these trash prices. So we'll see. All right. How many finishes? I don't think a lot, man. Like I'm picking a lot of decisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm thinking like 6 out of 13 finish. I was picking 6 out of 14. So I think a lot of these fights go the distance. The 13 leg Brazilian parlay. Why not? All right, guys. Best of luck. UFC 301. Like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. And we got the betting breakdown video tonight and then best bet tomorrow. We'll see you guys there. Good luck for UFC 301. See you later.